my favorite players. Here we go. 71. Travis Henry.
Travis Henry played from 2001 to 2004 before moving on to the Titans and then getting into some legal trouble. Was a Pro Bowl selection in 2002. Ranks 5th in team history with 3,849 yards, 7th in rushing touchdowns with 27. His 1,438 yards in 2002 are the 5th highest in team history. His 13 TDs in 2002 are tied for 2nd highest. That 2002 team was stacked.
Dude,
how did we not make the playoffs?
Yeah. 8-8. And we talked about this on the last show we did, Mikey. And Justice, you may not know this, but interesting stat here in the 2002 team. Because I saw a football that Peerless Price posted on Twitter. I'm like, and I read it, and I'm like, what is it? And they're the only team. I don't know if it's been broken, but it was an NFL record. First team in history to have 3 guys break the 1,000-yard mark in a game, meaning they all got their 1,000 yards in like week whatever. So he went over 1,000. Eric Moles went over 1,000. Peerless Price went over 1,000, all in the same game.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope. And Mikey hit it right on the head. That 2002 team, think about the stats real quick. So Drew Bledsoe, over 4,000 yards. I think over 4,500. Eric Moles, almost 1,300 yards. Peerless Price, almost 1,300 yards. Travis Henry, almost 1,500 rushing yards. Right? Look at the amount of touchdowns. We're begging for that now. Like let's be real. If Devin Singletary can get even close to this, and Diggs can get over 1,000, which he will, and then another player over 1,000, which maybe, right? That's a hell of a season to have 2 guys over 1,000 yards each, a running back over, and then we're not even talking about Josh Reed, who had 600 yards that season. So that was a phenomenal team, just badly coached, and that goes to show you how coaching can absolutely destroy a football team, and that's why that team was 8-8, and it shouldn't have been. But anyways, Justice, anything on Travis Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I see when I was a kid, it was hard to discern the difference between a good and a bad football player. But what I heard was that he fumbled a lot, but he was still obviously the bell cow for us, and he made a lot of things happen. So I do think he's worthy of this, especially when you look at his numbers. They're very comparable to some of the better running backs here, in Bill's history. So I think he's very deserving of this spot here.
100%. Earl, you're coming in with the defense. Yeah, the defense wasn't good, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was the worst. And by the way, you know who the head coach was? Greg Williams, the defensive mastermind. So whose fault is that? The defensive coach who couldn't get the defense to play better? But I do got a clip right here of Travis Henry. I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys real quick.
Another attention getter was running back Travis Henry, number 20, who recorded his first 1,000-yard rushing season and then ran for 438 more yards. As a rusher, he ranked number 5 in the NFL in 2002 and number 5 in Bills history.
The 15 to 18-yard routes in the Bills offense.
There's Henry inside the 10, inside the 5, still on his feet, into the end zone, touchdown. 14 yards as Travis Henry scores his 2nd touchdown of the game, now has 100.
Yeah, we always had good running backs back then. Do you remember that? Like those team, Travis Henry, Thurman Thomas, Fred Jackson, Willis McGahee, CJ Spiller. Even CJ Spiller put up decent yards, right? Beast mode. Like we always drafted running backs, and usually early.
Yep.
And they didn't stick around long, 3-4 seasons, 2. But we were drafting running backs like crazy. You remember that, Mikey? Like that was the thing back then. Like running backs.
I think we drafted McGahee, Spiller, and Lynch all within like a 4 or 5 year span.
Yeah, they weren't far from each other. Now, Fred, I think Fred was a walk on or a late round pick, right?
Yeah, he was an
undrafted out of Cole College.
Yeah,
right.
He went and played in NFL Europe for the Bills. And that's how he made his bones to get over in preseason, and just they couldn't take him off the field.
Yeah, yep. All right, so we're gonna move on to